Hey, you made it. I'm really glad you're here tonight. You don't have to explain your day. You don't have to summarize your week. You don't even have to know how you're feeling yet. Sometimes it takes a little while for your brain to catch up with everything you've been carrying. So, you can just sit here for a bit. I was thinking about something earlier. It's funny how easy it is to recognize someone else's effort while completely overlooking our own. Someone else works hard and we immediately notice. We tell them they're doing great. We tell them we're proud of them. We tell them they're stronger than they realize. But when it's us, suddenly it doesn't count. It wasn't enough. I should have done more. Everyone else could have handled it better. It's strange how differently we measure ourselves. I wonder how often you've survived days that would have completely overwhelmed an earlier version of you without ever stopping to notice. Not because those days became easy, but because you quietly became stronger. Not louder, not tougher, just more capable than you realize. Think about everything you've learned without noticing. Problems that would have kept you awake for days now get solved before lunch. Conversations you used to avoid, you can have those now. Things that once felt impossible became routine along the way. Growth rarely announces itself. Most of the time, it's just quietly moving to the finish line. Have you ever noticed that? You finally reached something you wanted for months, and instead of celebrating, your brain says, well, now I need to get to the next thing. It's exhausting, because if the finish line keeps moving, you never actually feel like you've arrived anywhere. Maybe tonight we leave the finish line where it is, just for a little while, not forever, just long enough to look behind you, because I think if you did, you'd see someone who's climbed a lot farther than they give themselves credit for. You've survived embarrassing moments you thought you'd never recover from. You've adapted to changes you never wanted. You've learned things you never planned on learning. You've met people, lost people, started over, changed your mind, changed your goals, changed yourself. That's a lot. Even if it doesn't feel dramatic, that's still a life being lived. And I know there are probably things you wish you'd handled differently. Everyone has those. Conversations you'd rewrite, opportunities you'd take, mistakes you'd undo. But the version of you back then could only make decisions with what they knew at the time. It's easy to judge the past when you're using information you didn't have yet. I think we forget that. We expect our past selves to have had today's wisdom, and that's really not fair. If you've been trying, even quietly, even imperfectly, I think that deserves more kindness than you've been giving yourself. Not because everything is perfect, not because you finished growing, but because effort matters, even when nobody else sees it, especially then. Maybe today wasn't spectacular. Maybe you only crossed one thing off your list. Maybe all you managed to do was keep going. Sometimes that's the victory. Not every day has to become a highlight reel. Some days are just bridges. They exist to get you somewhere better. I hope before you fall asleep tonight, you let yourself acknowledge one thing, just one decision you're proud of, one obstacle you've handled, one moment you've kept going when it would have been easier not to. It doesn't have to impress anyone else, it just has to be true. Because I have a feeling you're doing better than the voice in your head gives you permission to believe. And maybe, for tonight, you don't have to argue with that. You can simply let the possibility exist that maybe you're becoming someone your past self would be incredibly proud of. Thank you for spending a little bit of your night here with me. I hope tomorrow is gentle with you. And if it isn't, I hope you're gentle with yourself. I'll be here again soon. Good night.